The kitchen knife slipped from Alex's trembling hand, clattering against the porcelain sink like a gunshot in the quiet dawn. "Mom, I'm gay," he whispered, the words tasting like shattered glass on his tongue, his heart pounding so hard he swore it would crack his ribs. She turned from the stove, her smile blooming slow and sweet as fresh-baked apple pie, until her eyes, those sharp blue mirrors of his own, flickered with something darker, a shadow that swallowed the light whole. Alex Harper had always believed in the myth of the perfect American family, the kind you saw in faded Polaroids from his childhood in Elmwood, Ohio, a sleepy suburb where cornfields kissed the edges of split-level ranch houses, and Friday nights meant bonfires and the high school's roaring cheers. At 24, he was back home after 4 years scraping by in Chicago's indie theater scene, chasing dreams of directing plays that peeled back the layers of the human soul. But dreams didn't pay rent, and when his latest production flopped, critics calling it raw but ragged, he'd swallowed his pride and driven the 8 hours west on I-80, the Ohio Turnpike stretching like a lifeline back to the woman who'd raised him alone after Dad's trucker accident 10 years prior. Margaret Harper was the Rock of Elmwood, PTA president, church volunteer, the neighbor who baked casseroles for every funeral and bake sale. Her hands, calloused from years at the local library's circulation desk, had mended Alex's scraped knees and folded his laundry with the precision of a Marine. She'd never remarried, pouring all her love into him like he was the last drop of hope in a drought-stricken well. So when Alex pulled into the driveway that sweltering July afternoon, the gravel crunching under his beat-up Honda's tires, he figured it was time. No more hiding behind half-truths or late-night texts to guys he'd never see again. Chicago had cracked him open. Nights in dive bars where drag queens spilled truths over cheap whiskey, mornings tangled in sheets with strangers who felt like fleeting freedoms. He was done running. That first evening, they fell into old rhythms. Margaret fussing over pot roast while Alex unpacked in his boyhood room, posters of Spielberg films curling at the edges. "You're too skinny, kiddo," she teased, sliding a second helping across the Formica table. "Chicago eaten you alive?" He laughed it off, but her eyes lingered, probing like she could see the storm clouds gathering behind his forced grin. By the third day, the weight pressed too heavy. He caught her staring at the rainbow sticker on his laptop, a remnant from a pride float he'd helped build, and knew the dam had to break. It shattered that Friday morning, the one that started with the knife. He'd been chopping onions for breakfast omelets, the sizzle of butter in the pan masking his rehearsed speech. The words tumbled out raw, unpolished. "Mom, there's something I need to tell you. I'm gay. I like guys. And I can't pretend anymore." Silence stretched like taffy, the only sound the tick of the wall clock and his pulse thundering in his ears. Then her smile, God, that smile. It lit her face like sunrise over Lake Erie, crinkling the corners of her eyes. "Oh, honey," she said, stepping close to cup his face in her flour-dusted hands. "I've known since you were 16. That crush on Tommy Riley? The way you'd light up when he scored at homecoming? A mother knows." Relief flooded him, warm as the coffee steaming between them. He laughed, a sob catching in his throat, and she pulled him into a hug that smelled of lavender soap and home. "I love you, Alex. Always have. Always will." For a week it felt like Eden. They talked, really talked, for the first time in years. Over iced tea on the back porch swing, creaking under fireflies, Margaret shared stories she'd buried. Her own college fling with a sorority sister in the 70s, hushed up by small-town shame. "Times were different," she murmured, tracing the condensation on her glass. "But love's love, isn't it? Messy, beautiful, worth every scar." Alex soaked it in, the barriers crumbling like old wallpaper. He even mustered the courage to mention Jordan, the barista from his Chicago coffee shop who'd texted him good mornings for months, their video calls stretching into confessions under city skylines. "He's kind, Mom. Makes me feel seen." Her nod was approving, eyes sparkling. "Bring him home sometime. I'll make my famous lasagna." Emboldened, Alex drove into Columbus that weekend, the highway humming with possibility. Jordan met him at a quiet cafe off High Street, all freckles and easy grins, his red hair catching the autumn light like maple leaves. They were an instant reel of rom-com cliches. Stolen kisses in the stacks of a used bookstore, walks along the Scioto River where Jordan's hand slipped into Alex's without a second thought. "Your mom's cool with this?" Jordan asked one evening, their fingers laced as they shared fries at a greasy spoon. Alex grinned, pride swelling. "More than cool. She's my biggest cheerleader." By Sunday night, as Jordan's taillights faded on the turnpike, Alex felt invincible. Back in Elmwood, he burst through the door with tales, and Margaret listened with that same radiant smile, toasting him with chamomile tea. "To new chapters," she said, clinking mugs, but cracks spiderwebbed in subtle ways. A missed call from Margaret during his next date with Jordan. Nothing major, just running errands. Whispers from old high school friends at the Elmwood diner, eyebrows raised when Alex mentioned pride plans. "Your ma's always been the salt of the earth," one said, voice laced with something Alex couldn't place. He brushed it off as small-town gossip, the kind that thrived on half-truths like kudzu on a fence. Fall deepened, leaves turning the town into a postcard of russet and gold. Jordan visited for the first time over Labor Day weekend, his beat-up Jeep rattling into the driveway like a promise. Margaret enveloped him in hugs, her laugh ringing as she dragged them to the county fair. Cotton candy sticks and Ferris wheel spins under strings of bulbs. "You two are adorable," she whispered to Alex later, as Jordan charmed her with stories of his graphic design gigs. That night, as they sat around the fire pit, sparks dancing like fireflies, Alex caught her watching them with an intensity that bordered on fierce. "You're happy," she said softly, squeezing his knee. "That's all I ever wanted." Yet happiness has a way of inviting shadows. It started with the letters, and signed, slipped into the mailbox amid bills and seed catalogs. "We know what you are. Repent before it's too late." Alex found the first one, his stomach twisting as he crumpled it in the garage, rain pattering on the tin roof. He didn't tell Margaret, didn't want to taint the fragile peace. But they kept coming, words sharpening like switchblades. Sick. Unnatural. God sees all. Jordan urged him to report them when he visited next, his brow furrowed over Skype. "This is hate, Alex. Real hate." But Elmwood was Margaret's domain. She'd wave it off as troublemakers, her smile unwavering. One crisp October evening, after a shift volunteering at the library, Margaret's gentle arm twisting, Alex lingered in the biography section, fingers trailing spines of civil rights heroes. That's when he overheard her, voice low in the back office with Reverend Ellis, the fire and brimstone pastor from First Methodist. "He's confused, Reverend. The devil's whispers in that big city. I need your help to bring him back." Alex froze, the book slipping from his grasp. Back to what? The closet he'd clawed out of. He slipped out unseen, heart hammering, convincing himself it was a misunderstanding. Mother's worry, that's all. But doubt festered like an untreated wound. He confronted her over dinner that night, the kitchen thick with the scent of meatloaf. "Mom, what were you doing with Reverend Ellis?" Her fork paused midair, smile faltering for the first time. A glitch in the matrix. "Just chatting about the youth group, honey. Nothing to fret over." Lies hung in the air, bitter as overbrewed coffee. Alex let it slide, but sleep evaded him. Dreams tangled with Jordan's laughter and shadowed pulpits. The betrayal uncoiled slowly, a serpent in the garden. Jordan noticed first during their Thanksgiving planning call. "Your texts are off, like you're holding back." Alex deflected with jokes, but the letters escalated, now with photos. Him and Jordan at the fair, candid shots that prickled his skin. Someone was watching. Paranoia crept in, turning every corner glance into accusation. It crested on a sleety November afternoon. Alex came home early from a job interview in Dayton. Barista again, survival's cruel joke, and found Margaret in the living room, hunched over her laptop, screen glowing with an open email chain. He glimpsed the subject, support group for families of the afflicted. Her replies, "He's slipping away. Pray for intervention." Attached, Those photos forwarded to a network of church allies. Mom! His voice cracked like thin ice. She startled, slamming the laptop shut, but it was too late. The smile returned, mechanical now, a mask cracking at the edges. Alex, sit down. We need to talk. What followed was a torrent. Her fear, not of him, but for him. The lake of fire awaiting unrepentant souls. The sermons she'd internalized like gospel. I smiled because I thought we could fix this together, she confessed, tears carving tracks down her cheeks. Therapy, prayer. Jordan's a phase, right? We can save you. Save him? From love? The room spun, the woman who'd been his anchor now a riptide pulling him under. He stormed out into the sleet, phone clutched like a talisman, dialing Jordan through chattering teeth. Come get me. Now. The drive back to Chicago was a blur of wipers and white-knuckled silence. Jordan's hand a steady flame on his thigh, but the wound gaped wide. Margaret's calls flooded in, voicemails laced with pleas, then scripture, then silence. Winter clamped down like a vice. Alex crashed on Jordan's couch in Wicker Park, the city's pulse a bomb to his raw edges. They rebuilt in fits and starts. Hot cocoa nights debating Fellini films, Jordan's sketches of their future. A tiny apartment with exposed brick and a cat named after Hepburn. Love deepened, roots seeking soil in the chaos. You're enough, Jordan murmured one blizzard-bound evening, their breaths mingling under threadbare quilts. More than enough. But Elmwood's tendrils lingered. The church network mobilized, subtle at first. Job leads drying up in Dayton, whispers at the diner turning to cold shoulders. Then overt. Reverend Ellis's sermon, streamed live, decrying the prodigal son's perversion. With veiled nods to a local boy led astray. Alex's face, blurred but unmistakable, flashed in the background slide. The final blow landed via certified mail. Margaret, co-signer on his student loans, had refinanced them under a family hardship clause. Payments now tripled, due immediately. A note enclosed. This is for your own good. Come home. Let us help. Betrayal's knife twisted deep. He confronted her over a crackling video call. The screen a chasm between them. You did this? My loans? The sermons? Her face crumpled, the smile a ghost. I had to, Alex. For your soul. God forgives. Rage boiled over, words he couldn't unsay. You weren't saving me, you were breaking me. I thought you loved me. The call ended in static, her sobs echoing long after. Climax brewed in the gray December thaw. Jordan proposed a road trip, escape, reset, heading south to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, beads and brass bands to drown the ache. But en route, in a Memphis motel off I-40, Alex's phone buzzed. Margaret, hospitalized. Stroke, the neighbor said. She's asking for you. Jordan's eyes searched his. Go. I'll wait. The drive back was purgatory, highways blurring into regret. Elmwood General's fluorescent halls smelled of antiseptic and finality. Margaret lay pale, monitors beeping like accusations. You came, she whispered, hand frail in his. He nodded, throat tight. Always will. But this, we fix it together. No sermons. No fixes. Just us. Tears welled in her eyes, the shadow lifting as truth pierced the veil. I was scared, honey, of losing you to hell or worse, to a world that hates you like it hated me once. Confession spilled. Her own buried life, the college love lost to conversion therapy's cruelty, the fear she'd projected onto him like a curse. In the days that followed, as snow dusted the windows, they dismantled the walls. Jordan arrived, tentative bridge builder, and Margaret extended a hand. Not perfect, but trying. Therapy sessions in Columbus. Awkward at first. A circle of 3, unpacking shame's tangled roots. Letters to the church, Alex's words fierce. Love isn't affliction. It's grace. The loan? Refinanced with Jordan's steady job. A quiet act of partnership. Spring unfurled gentle, cherry blossoms painting Elmwood pink. Alex directed a community play. Angels in America, raw and redemptive. Margaret in the front row, clapping through tears. Jordan proposed properly that summer, on the porch swing under stars, ring simple as a vow. She walked Alex down the aisle at a quiet ceremony in Grant Park, Chicago's skyline a testament to horizons reclaimed. Not every scar fades clean. Whispers linger in Elmwood's corners, and doubt's echo sometimes stirs at dawn. But in the quiet moments, Jordan's head on his shoulder, Margaret's calls laced with laughter. They forged something human, flawed, profound. A family not of blood alone, but of chosen forgiveness. In America's vast, bruised heart, love doesn't conquer all. It simply endures, one fragile smile at a time. The knife's echo still rang in Alex's ears as he wiped his hands on a dish towel, the fabric rough against his palms like sandpaper on fresh wounds. Margaret pulled back from the hug, her smile holding steady, but now he saw the effort in it, the way her lips pressed just a fraction too tight. "Pancakes to celebrate?" she asked, voice light as spun sugar. He nodded, numb, watching her flip the batter with practiced flips, golden edges crisping. Breakfast blurred into normalcy. Small talk about the weather, the library's new audiobook section, his vague plans to get back on his feet. But under the table, his foot tapped a Morse code of anxiety, and when she cleared the plates, her hand lingered on his shoulder. "We're good, right, kiddo? You and me against the world." Yeah, he thought. Always. That weekend marked the turning point, or so it seemed. Alex met up with old friends at the Elmwood Tavern, a dive where neon signs buzzed like trapped fireflies and the jukebox spun Springsteen on repeat. Tommy Riley was there, broader now with a mechanic's grease under his nails and a wife named Becky nursing a soda at the bar. "Heard you're some big-shot director," Tommy slurred, clapping Alex's back hard enough to slosh his beer. Alex chuckled, deflecting. "More like big-shot waiter." The group ribbed him gently, stories of glory days pulling laughs from dusty corners. But when the conversation veered to settling down, eyes flicked his way, curious, not cruel. "Any special someone?" Becky asked, innocent as pie. He swallowed, the room tilting. "Working on it." Tommy's grin widened. "Attaboy. Your ma must be thrilled you're home." "She's been different lately." Glowing, different. The word stuck like burrs. Back home, Margaret was abed, Bible open on the nightstand. Not unusual, but the spine creased at Leviticus tonight. He peeked in, silhouetted by hall light. "Night, Mom." Her murmur was sleepy, peaceful. "Love you, Alex. Sweet dreams." Monday brought Jordan's first visit, unannounced. His Jeep announcing itself with a throaty rumble. Alex was in the yard raking leaves, autumn's carpet crunching underfoot, when Jordan hopped out, all lanky confidence in faded jeans and a flannel that smelled of city rain. "Surprise road trip detour," he said, pulling Alex into a kiss that tasted of gas station coffee and promise. Margaret appeared at the screen door, apron tied, waving like a flag. "Well, if it isn't the famous Jordan. Come in, come in. I've got chili on." The afternoon unfolded like a dream sequence. Jordan regaling her with tales of Chicago's mural alleys, Margaret countering with Elmwood lore. The '89 flood that turned Main Street into a lazy river. Laughter echoed off knotty pine walls, easy as breathing. But as dusk fell, painting the sky bruise purple, Alex caught Jordan's puzzled glance at the living room mantel. Family photos curated like a timeline. Dad's grinning portrait, Alex in Little League, Margaret at her high school prom, arm linked with a girl whose face blurred in the shadow. No recent shots, no space for the now. "Nice gallery," Jordan whispered later, as they washed dishes side by side. Alex shrugged. "Mom's sentimental." Jordan's soapy hand brushed his, a secret anchor. "She's great. Really." That night, tangled in his twin bed, Jordan squeezed in like a co-conspirator. They whispered futures. A loft in Pilsen, Alex's scripts on coffee tables, Jordan's designs framing gallery walls. "Your mom's the real MVP," Jordan murmured, lips grazing Alex's temple. "Makes this feel possible." Alex's chest ached with it. Love's quiet thunder. But as Jordan's breaths evened into sleep, Alex stared at the ceiling cracks, mapping constellations of doubt. The letters started the next day, innocuous in the mailbox. Welcome home, sinner. No signature, just a Bible verse scrawled in block letters. Romans 1 verses 26 to 27. He burned it in the sink, flame-licking blue, telling himself it was kids. Pranks. Weeks blurred into routine. Alex landed a gig at the local community center, teaching improv to teens. Awkward limbs and bold truths spilling out in trust falls. Jordan's visits became weekends, their rhythm syncing like a well-rehearsed scene. Friday drives with podcasts on queer icons. Saturday hikes in the Hocking Hills where waterfalls drowned out insecurities. Margaret doted, packing picnics with notes tucked in, enjoy the view and each other. One evening, as they grilled burgers in the backyard, smoke curling lazy, she raised her glass of boxed wine. To family, she toasted, eyes misty. The ones we choose. Alex's throat tightened. Jordan squeezed his hand under the picnic table, unseen but felt. Yet the shadows lengthened. Another letter. Your mother's praying for you. Eat her. How did they know? Alex pocketed it, paranoia a low hum. At the library, volunteering shelving runs, he overheard snippets. Margaret with the head librarian, voice hushed. He's exploring, but we'll guide him right. Guide. The word chilled, but he dismissed it as maternal fussing. Jordan, sensing the shift during a call, pressed gently. Talk to me, babe. You're fading. Alex forced brightness. Just homesick for the city. We'll be okay. Thanksgiving loomed, a feast of forced festivity. Jordan drove down with a pumpkin pie from his mom's recipe, flour-dusted and proud. The table groaned under turkey and fixings, candlelight flickering like hope. Margaret's prayer was long, invoking blessings on wayward paths returned. Alex's fork scraped china too loud. Later, clearing wreckage, Jordan cornered him in the pantry. That prayer felt pointed. Alex waved it off. Old habits. She's coming around. But doubt's seed sprouted thorns. The fare that followed was a whirlwind of lights and laughter. Corn dogs and carousel spins. Jordan winning a stuffed bear at ring toss. Margaret snapped photos, her camera a relic from Dad's days. For the album, she said, winking. But as they posed under the midway arch, a man in a trucker cap lingered too long. Phone angled their way. Alex's skin crawled, but he shook it off, pulling Jordan into a cotton candy kiss. Winter's breath arrived early, frosting windows with lace. The letters piled. Abomination in our midst. Alex showed one to Jordan over FaceTime, his face paling. This is serious. Police. But Elmwood PD was Margaret's bridge club buddy. Reports vanished like smoke. Give it time, Alex said, hating the lie. Then the sermon leak. A church bulletin forwarded anonymously. Reverend Ellis's words bolded. Modern Sodom stalks our streets. Parents, reclaim your children. Alex's name wasn't there, but the timing screamed. Confrontation brewed that night. Rain lashing pains as he faced her in the kitchen. Letters splayed like evidence. Mom, is this you? Stirring them up. Her smile cracked, eyes wide. Honey, it's concern. Love. Love. The word twisted. A knife in velvet. He left for Chicago the next dawn, Jordan's arms a harbor. But the call came mid-drive, she's sorry. Come back. Alex gripped the wheel, torn. Forgiveness or flight. The road stretched, undecided. Jordan's apartment was a sanctuary of chaos. Exposed brick walls papered with concert stubs. A kitchenette where takeout containers doubled as art installations. Alex crashed there, the couch a temporary throne. But nights pulled him to Jordan's bed like gravity. Stay as long as you need, Jordan said, brewing chamomile in mismatched mugs. We're in this. They were, in the way lovers are, stitching wounds with whispers and warmth. Mornings meant lazy brunches at Dollop Diner, pancakes stacked high, Jordan's foot hooking Alex's under the booth. Tell me about Elmwood, he'd prompt, sketching idle hearts on napkins. Alex obliged in fragments. The swing set where he'd first kissed a boy in secret, the library's hush hiding his coming-of-age reads smuggled from Chicago. Work grounded him. A barista shift at the corner cafe, steam hissing like therapy. Customers blurred. Hipsters ordering oat lattes, elders nursing black coffee with crosswords. Jordan thrived in his studio downtown, pixels bending to his vision for queer-positive ad campaigns. Evenings, they'd cook. Pasta Alfredo from a YouTube hack, wine cheap but flowing. To us, Jordan toasted one night, glasses clinking. The unbreakable kind. Alex's laugh was genuine, but ghosts lingered in the quiet. Voicemails from Margaret, soft pleas layered with psalms. Miss you. Come home for Christmas? He deleted them one by one, the act a small rebellion. The betrayal's full bloom hit in December. Snow blanketing the city in hush. Alex's bank app pinged. Loan payment overdue, balance ballooned. Panic clawed as he dialed the servicer. Margaret's name on the cosign, terms rewritten without notice. Family intervention clause, the rep droned. Her note arrived snail mail, elegant script. Tough love, darling. Forces your hand. Forces. To what, crawling back, repentant? Rage simmered into ice. He called her voice steel. The loans, Mom? Really? Static crackled, her sob breaking through. It's for you. To see the light. Light. Hers dim and judgmental. Jordan found him on the fire escape. Knees to chest, city lights smearing below. She cut the cord. Alex choked, handing over the letter. Jordan read, jaw tight, then pulled him close. Then we tie a new one. Together. That night they plotted, refinance appeals, side hustles. Jordan's freelance spiked, Alex's tips pooled. Love weaponized into survival, fierce and tender. Christmas came cloaked in irony. They strung lights on a Charlie Brown tree, ornaments scavenged from thrift shops. A glass unicorn for whimsy. A wooden star etched Harper from Alex's childhood, salvaged in haste. Margaret's gift arrived UPS. A sweater, hand-knit, lavender like her soap, with a card. Warmth for cold nights. Forgive? Alex wore it ironically at first, then genuinely, fibers soft against scars. New Year's Eve, confetti and countdowns. They kissed at midnight on a rooftop party, strangers cheering. Resolution. No more hiding, Jordan murmured. Alex nodded, resolve hardening. But Elmwood's echo persisted. A package of church flyers, ex-gay testimonies postmarked home. He shredded them, but seeds of doubt took root. Was he running or reclaiming? January thawed into additions. Alex landed a callback for a Steppenwolf understudy, small but electric. Rehearsals filled days, Jordan's encouragements fuel. You're a force, he'd say, massaging knots from Alex's shoulders post-run through. Intimacy deepened, not in frenzy but folds. Shared journals of fears, playlists curated for moods. Bon Iver for melancholy, Troye Sivan for fire. One storm-lashed night, thunder rumbling like judgment. Alex confessed the full hook, the knife, the smile, the unraveling. Jordan listened, fingers tracing spine. She loves you, wrongly, but loves. Wisdom from a boy who'd lost his dad to AIDS stigma, family fractured. We'll build ours bulletproof. Spring hinted early, crocuses pushing through concrete. Jordan's proposal of the road trip, New Orleans, beads and rebirth, sparked joy. Mardi Gras magic, he grinned, packing maps. They hit the road in March, I-65 southbound, windows down, radio blasting queer anthems. Memphis stop. Beale Street blues, ribs sticky sweet, motel bed creaking under laughter. This is us, Alex said. Head on Jordan's chest, heartbeat drum. Free. But fate's twist came at dawn, phone vibrating like doom. Neighbor's voice, urgent. Your ma, Alex. Hospital. Stroke. The world tilted, Jordan's hand steadying. Go. I'll follow. 8 hours blurred. Turnpikes, taillights, tears. Elmwood General loomed, sterile sentinel. Margaret in ICU, tubes snaking, monitors beeping Morse of mortality. Alex, she rasped, eyes fluttering open. He took her hand, cold as regret. I'm here. Days merged in vigil. Beeping rhythms, coffee sludge, Jordan arriving with clean clothes and quiet strength. Margaret rallied slow, words slurred but sincere. Sorry. The money. Fear. Fear of loss, of hellfire preached from pulpits she trusted. Alex squeezed, tears hot. Me too. For yelling. Forgiveness's first thread. Fragile. Discharge brought homecoming reversed. Alex and Jordan installing ramps, stocking fridge with easy eats. Margaret's eyes on them softened, curiosity edging shame. Tell me about the city, she'd ask, propped on pillows. Stories flowed, pride parades, theater lofts, Jordan adding sketches of imagined adventures. One evening, fire crackling, she ventured, I was wrong. About fixing. Alex's breath caught. Love doesn't need fixing, Mom. Her nod. Tentative. Then teach me. Therapy followed. A triad in Columbus. Counselor neutral, space sacred. Sessions unearthed bones. Margaret's college lover. Beaten out by conversion camps. Alex's teen isolation. Dad's absence a void. Jordan mediated, his calm a bridge. Progress stuttered. Setbacks when church friends called. Praying for clarity. But held. Summer solstice. Alex's play premiered. Shadows and Light. A one-act on hidden loves. Margaret attended. Front row. Clapping fierce through finale tears. Backstage, hug bone deep. Proud, she whispered. Jordan beamed. Ring box burning pocket. The wedding brewed gentle. Grant Park, September sun gilding vows. Margaret walked him, arm linked, smile true. No shadows. To new beginnings, she said. Pressing a handkerchief embroidered family. Rings exchanged, simple gold. Promises etched eternal. Scars linger, letters cease, but echoes whisper. Yet in the afterglow, Jordan's hand in his, Margaret's laugh over phone lines. They stand. Human whole. Love's not conquest. It's quiet revolution, one dawn at a time. Jordan's Jeep 8 miles like hunger. The dashboard clock ticking toward midnight as they crossed into Tennessee. Alex's phone lay silent in the cup holder. A grenade unpinned. You okay? Jordan asked, thumb brushing knee. Alex nodded, jaw tight. Just processing. Processing the voicemail replaying in his head. Margaret's voice, frail through hospital static. I need you. Stroke, sudden as betrayal's sting. The doctor had downplayed, mild, recoverable, but urgency clawed. Jordan squeezed. We'll turn back after NOLA if needed. No, Alex thought. Forward first. Rebirth before repair. New Orleans enveloped them in fever dream. French Quarter alleys pulsing with jazz. Air thick with beignet and bourbon. Mardi Gras reigned. Floats lumbering like Mardi Gras monarchs. Beads raining confetti chaos. They danced through it. Strangers cheers a chorus. Jordan hoisting Alex on shoulders for crew waves. To freedom! He yelled over brass blasts. Lips sticky with powdered sugar. Nights in a garden district B&B. Lace curtains filtering moon. They made love slow. Exploring maps of skin. Whispers weaving futures. Marry me. Jordan breathed post-climax, half jest. Alex laughed. Heart full. In a heartbeat. But dawn's third day, reality intruded. Neighbor's follow-up call, stable, but asking for you constant. Guilt gnawed, sharp as gumbo spice. We head back, Alex decided, packing with regret. Jordan nodded, no questions. The drive north inverted joy, Louisiana bayous to Ohio plains. Radio fading to static thoughts. What if she's changed? Alex voiced the fear. Jordan's profile steady. Then you bridge. Or burn. Your call. Elmwood welcomed gray. Skies weeping, trees barren. Hospital reunion was tableau vivant. Margaret propped, foredripped, eyes lighting on him like lost sun. My boy. He bent. Forehead to hers. Scent of hospital mingling memory. Scared me. Her chuckle rasped. Scared myself. Jordan hovered doorway, respectful shadow, until she beckoned. You too, son. Thank you. Awkward nod, but seed planted. Vigil stretched weak. Alex bunking guest room, Jordan commuting from Chicago crash pad. Mornings, he'd read to her Hemingway short stories, Voices lightning rooms. Afternoons, walks in corridors, her arm his crutch. The loans. Unforgivable. she murmured one rainy slant. Fear made me cruel. Fear of eternal fire, of widowhood's echo in a son's lost soul. Alex traced her knuckles, veins mapping years. I get fear. Lived it. Shared silences built tentative towers. Discharge orchestrated chaos. Home modifications. Meals on Wheels signups. Jordan proved partner, installing grab bars with YouTube tutorials, cooking bland broths turned flavorful. Margaret watched, thawing. You're good for him, she told Jordan over weak tea. His blush genuine. He's good for me. Evenings, firelit, stories surfaced. Her 70s and Arbor days. A girl named Clara with wild curls and manifestos. We marched for rights, women's gay. Then, family pressure. Therapy they called it. Pray away this sin. Voice cracked. I buried her to survive. Swore I'd spare you that pain. Alex's hand covered hers. By causing your own kind? Irony bitter. By saving. She corrected, eyes haunted. Wrong word now. The church loomed unspoken. Flyers ceased post-stroke. Rumors of softened stance. But Reverend Ellis visited, Bible in hand. Alex intercepted. Hallway standoff. Not now. Ellis's gaze pitying. For her soul and his. Jordan flanked. Quiet steel. Ours are fine, thanks. Door shut, but ripple lingered. Therapy referral came gentle. Counselor's office in Columbus, earth-toned sanctuary. First session, triad tense, Margaret fidgeting, Alex guarded, Jordan mediator. Start with one truth, therapist prompted. Margaret, I weaponized love. Alex, it broke trust. Jordan, but we're here. Session snowballed. Unpacking Dad's accident, the void it carved. Margaret's internalized dogma, scripture twisted to chains. Progress jagged, homework arguments over the Laramie Project, tears at Brokeback Mountain screening. But bonds knit. Shared recipes, Jordan's art lessons from Margaret's shaky hands. Spring equinox, Alex's play loomed, veils lifted, semi-autobiographical, stages of coming out. Rehearsals consumed, lines blurring life. Margaret attended preview, wheelchair-bound but fierce. Curtain call, her applause thunder. Backstage, raw, true. You. Pride swelled, old wounds scabbing. Jordan's proposal crystallized May. Ohio wildflowers blooming riot. Picnic by the river, basket Margaret packed. Sly accomplice. Ask him, she'd coached. Jordan knelt, ring glinting. Alex Harper. Build forever with me? Yes, choked out, laughter tears. Margaret's hug post. My boys. Wedding planning wove them tighter. Invitations handwritten. Menu debates yielding fusion. Chicago deep dish meets Elmwood pie. Church nixed, too fraught, but Park Pavilion, Lake View sufficed. Vows September. Sun-kissed. Jordan's in chaos and calm. Alex's through shadows to light. Margaret's toast, voice steady. To love unhidden. Cheers. Fall harvest, Elmwood fair redux, booths familiar, but arms linked open. Whispers faded, replaced nods. Scars? Eternal ink, reminders. But in harvest moons, family redefined, not perfect, but present. Human arc bent toward grace.